Hi, I'm Chloe. Thank you for visiting our video. Find out why our team can provide you the best services for your needs. Hundreds of clients can't be wrong. Check out the following video.
Real Estate with Realtor Kashif Sohail. Welcome to Washington, America show with international multimedia journalist, multidimensional, multifaceted artist and director of Human Rights Justice Council USA, Dr. Kashif Sohail.
Zoning ordinances are generally created, implemented, and regulated locally by a number of different governmental bodies, including building departments, zoning commissions, and zoning appeals boards. These authorities take many types of actions within the parameters of zoning laws and ordinances. However, these authorities must act within the police power and are limited by the Constitution, due process, equal protection, and takings. In order to satisfy due process, most communities have established zoning appeals boards for the purpose of hearing complaints that individual property owners have with local zoning ordinances. Zoning appeals boards have the power to grant variances, or special exceptions, and property owners may appeal adverse decisions of the board to the courts. Zoning should be driven by a city or county master plan. A master or comprehensive plan broadly depicts current and projected future zoning patterns within a city or county. Most cities and many counties have adopted such a plan in order to guide and control the long-term use and development of land within their jurisdiction in a logical fashion, and in accordance with an overall concept or goal.
Commonly zoned uses within a city or county include low, medium, or high-density residential zones, consisting of single-family, townhouses, mid-rise, and high-rise residential buildings. Commercial activity is also commonly zoned to a specific location. Commercial zones may also be of low, medium, and high density, including small office buildings, neighborhood retail, shopping centers, and high-rise office buildings. Low, medium, and high-density industrial activity may consist of industrial facilities, storage facilities, light manufacturing, and heavy industry. Agricultural uses are zoned to specific locations and include livestock, grazing, farming, and nurseries. Finally, public items such as state and local government buildings, schools, fire and rescue facilities may be zoned to particular locations within a town or city. These uses are zoned using a variety of zoning methods. While zoning ordinances must strive to be uniform and fair, there must be relief for case-specific hardships. A variance allows deviation from existing zoning in unique circumstances and according to rules established by state law. A zoning board may grant a variance if the property owner can prove that local zoning creates an undue hardship because of unique circumstances, and can also show that granting the variance will not greatly alter the character of the affected locality. For example, an owner of a 1.5 acre lot in a neighborhood zoned for 2-acre home sites would need to apply for and receive a variance before building. Non-conforming use. A non-conforming use is one that is inconsistent with, and does not conform to, the current zoning ordinance. A legal non-conforming use is one that existed prior to the current zoning, a condition known as grandfathering, which is permitted to continue, despite the zoning change to prohibit it. If a property of a non-conforming use is destroyed, owners can rebuild if they are granted a variance.
Spot zoning describes a situation where the zoning for a relatively small area differs significantly from the zoning of adjoining areas. Spot zoning is created by making changes to a zoning ordinance in order to accommodate a particular non-conforming use. However, spot zoning rarely survives a legal challenge because it is difficult to fairly implement and it often results in arbitrary and discriminatory selection.
Zoning allows local governments to regulate which areas under their jurisdiction may have real estate or land used for particular purposes. Examples of zoning classifications include residential, commercial, agricultural, industrial, or hotel or hospitality, among other more specific designations.
Downzoning involves a change in zoning from a higher, more active category to a lower, less active, less profitable category. Sometimes governments can be stopped, a legal term literally meaning stopped, from enforcing a new downzoning ordinance against a landowner. Zoning estoppel can occur when a landowner can show that he has incurred substantial costs after relying upon the government's prior assurances that he had met all zoning requirements. Legal doctrine that allows a developer, based on the developer's reasonable and substantial reliance on the government's original position, to proceed with development despite a change in government position that would make the development illegal. If a government granted preliminary approval for a subdivision to a prior owner, the new owner relied upon that approval in purchasing the property, and then the government denied the landowner development construction permits, the landowner may be able to use the theory of zoning estoppel to proceed with the development. However, just as zoning ordinances are difficult to overturn, zoning estoppel is difficult to prove, and will usually require expensive, drawn-out litigation. Bulk zoning is a method of zoning used to control building density by imposing restrictions on setback lines, building height, and the percentage of open areas. A buffer zone is a land use zone that separates two otherwise incompatible land uses. For example, the developer of an industrial park might be required to establish a buffer zone between his proposed development and a neighboring residential area. The zone may consist of a park or other intermediate use. Conditional use zoning, also called special use or special exception, results in the issuance of a zoning permit that allows a use that is not in compliance with the surrounding local zoning already in effect. Generally, conditional use zoning is used to permit an otherwise prohibited use because it benefits the community as a whole. For example, a zoning board might issue a conditional use permit that would allow a hospital to be built in a residential neighborhood.
A buffer zone is a land use zone that separates two otherwise incompatible land uses. For example, the developer of an industrial park might be required to establish a buffer zone between his proposed development and a neighboring residential area. The zone may consist of a park or other intermediate use. Conditional use zoning, also called special use or special exception, results in the issuance of a zoning permit that allows a use that is not in compliance with the surrounding local zoning already in effect. Generally, conditional use zoning is used to permit an otherwise prohibited use because it benefits the community as a whole. For example, a zoning board might issue a conditional use permit that would allow a hospital to be built in a residential neighborhood.
Conservation easements impose limitations on land use in order to retain or protect natural, scenic or open space. This ensures that land is available for agricultural, forest, recreational or open space use. Conservation easements also protect natural resources, maintain or enhance air or water quality, and preserve the historical, architectural, archaeological, or cultural aspects of real property. The holder of an easement may be a charitable corporation, association, or trust which is exempt from taxation. The duration of conservation easements is unlimited unless otherwise designated at the time it is created. Virginia's Land Preservation Tax Credit is a state income tax credit for individuals and corporations that donate land or development rights to land to a qualified public or private conservation agency for a conservation or preservation purpose, including agricultural or forestry use, open space, natural resource or biodiversity conservation, or watershed or historic preservation. Matching funds law authorizes the Virginia Land Conservation Fund to be used for matching grants to local governments, public bodies and non-profit organizations for purchasing title or development rights in land for the protection of ecological, cultural, or historical resources, recreational purposes, threatened or endangered species, fish and wildlife habitat, natural areas, agricultural and forest lands, and open space.
So, since you've learned more about us, click the link in the description to see how you can contact us.
Please share this video, subscribe to our channel.
Are you looking to buy or sell a home anytime soon? If so, you've come to the right place. We'd like to give you the opportunity to work with one of the top local real estate agents and get the best deal when buying or selling a home. The fact is, experienced agents can often get you a 2 to 10% better deal on the purchase or sale of a property, mostly due to their experience in the local marketplace and their ability to negotiate the best deal. So contact our top agent now and start the process of buying or selling your home.